everyone, good evening and welcome back to Thorough Newspaper Analysis. So today is 12th of May and this entire video series is brought to you by LawSikho. See, as far as the agenda for today is concerned, first we have an Indian Express article. This is indeed an important one and this is titled as What Tilted Scales in Delhi Government's Favor. See, this article essentially talks about the Supreme Court's yesterday's decision, wherein the Supreme Court has put an end for once and all to the question as to which or who among the following, which is the center and the Delhi government, who has legislative and executive control over the bureaucracy of the National Capital Territory of Delhi. And I'm sure with respect to this matter, the ongoing battle between these two entities, the center and the Delhi government, you would have seen a lot of memes and media coverage because the Delhi government, the chief minister of Delhi, has been time and again leveling accusation against the center that the center is not allowing the proper functioning of the Delhi administration. And secondly, we talk about the news update segment. And thirdly, we talk about the important legal developments of the day. So with this, let's start off the TNA. And first, we cater to this article, which is titled as What Tilted Scales in Delhi Government's Favor. Now, this is going to be our audit of understanding of it. First, we talk about what the Supreme Court has held so far. Then we dive into the factual matrix of this case because it is important for us to understand the timeline of it in order to appreciate the nuances better. Thirdly, we talk about what is the bone of contention between the center and the Delhi administration or the Delhi government, I'm sorry. And fourthly, we talk about what the court eventually has decided recently. So see, putting an end to an 8-year-old legal battle between the Aam Aadmi-led party, which is in prevalence in Delhi, the Delhi government, and the center, the Supreme Court on Thursday, it has ruled that the Delhi government, it has the legislative and the executive power over the administrative services in the National Capital Territory of Delhi. So let's say if there is any matter with respect to transfer of a public servant or who is functioning or a bureaucrat who is working in Delhi, so who is going to make the decision? So as per the Supreme Court, the Delhi government is the appropriate authority. Now see, let's understand as to why the need of this dispute arose. See, in 2015, there was this notification which came about from the Union Home Ministry. By virtue of this notification, the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, he was given the control over services. Services here we mean the administrative services. So the Delhi government, it felt aggrieved because as per Delhi government is the appropriate authority to decide on matters with respect to its administration. So the Delhi government, it approached the Delhi High Court. However, the High Court upheld this notification. Again, feeling aggrieved, the Delhi government approached the Apex Court. The matter was before a division bench, which referred this matter to a larger constitution bench of the Supreme Court. In 2018, the constitution bench, it ruled in favor of the Delhi government. The court, however, did not go into the specificities of the issues that were involved, and therefore, in order to address the specific issues, the matter went before a division bench in 2019. And one of the issues was with respect to services as to who is going to have control over the administrative services in NCT. Now, interestingly, in 2018, the Constitution Bench, it unanimously gave the decision in favor of the Delhi government. However, the division bench, which had 2 judges who were also part of the Constitution Bench itself, they delivered split verdicts with respect to the issue of services. And therefore, the matter reached a 3-judge bench. And then eventually it reached the 5-judge Constitution Bench, which presently decided this issue. Now, as far as the bone of contention is concerned, simply put, the issue was who between the center and the state government would have the legislative and the executive power over the bureaucracy. As far as the center is concerned, the center has argued, and before we understand that, it is important for us to have a look at Article this. See, Article 239, capital AA of the Indian Constitution, it provides for special provisions with respect to Delhi. There is a clause in this article, which is clause 3, subclause A. I would request all of you to have a look at the same. You pause the video, read it, and then you come back. So clause 3A, it essentially provides that subject to the provisions of this constitution, the Legislative Assembly, which is the Legislative Assembly of Delhi, the Delhi government, it shall have power to legislate or make laws with respect to any of the matters which are enlisted in your state list and the concurrent list insofar as such matter it is applicable to union territories. And there are three matters which are exempted from such power. So essentially, what does Clause 3A provide? It gives power to legislate on the entries in the state list and the concurrent list to the Delhi government. And one of the list entries in state list is entry 41. This provides for matters pertaining to public services. So this essentially means that the Delhi government has power to legislate with respect to services, the administrative services functioning in the National Capital Territory of Delhi. However, the center has argued that the 2018 judgment of the Constitution Bench, it did not address the nuances of Article this, because Clause 3A, it categorically makes use of two phrases. First is, insofar as such matter is applicable to union territories, and secondly, subject to the provisions of the Indian Constitution. So center essentially was arguing that since no union territory, it has power to legislate or have executive power over the services, the bureaucracy, therefore similarly, the NCT of Delhi, it also does not have executive and legislative power to regulate its bureaucracy. However, here interestingly, the Supreme Court has held that firstly, Delhi, it has unique status. It does not resemble any other union territory. Why? Because it has been given special status under Article this, which we have discussed. And as far as the second argument is concerned, which is subject to the provisions of the Constitution, the court held that this clause, this phrase, it is not unique to this article. There are 22 other articles in our Constitution which make use of this phrase, and we cannot interpret this phrase in such a manner so as to take away the power from the Delhi government, and therefore, essentially, the center ruled in favor of the Delhi government. However, the court has acknowledged that the legislative and executive power of Delhi over entry 41, it shall not extend over services related to public order, police, and land. Why? Because these services are specifically excluded from clause 3A. However, the court also added that the legislative and executive power over such services, such as your IAS, which is the Indian Administrative Services, or Joint Cadre of Services, which are relevant for the implementation of policies and vision of the NCT of Delhi, in terms of its day-to-day administration, they would continue to vest with the Delhi government. So with this, we dive into the next segment for today. And now we come to the national news segment for today. First up, we have an update about a recent report that has been launched by the World Health Organization in collaboration with the United Nations Children's Fund and the United Nations Population Fund. As far as this report is concerned, it has highlighted the challenges that are faced in reducing maternal deaths, stillbirths, and newborn deaths globally. This report shows that in the year 2020 to 2021, there were a combined of 4.5 million deaths of this particular kind, with India leading a list of top 10 countries that account for a massive chunk of 60% of the global total. Next, we have an update with respect to a cyclonic development. So deep depression over Bay of Bengal, it has intensified into a cyclonic storm, which is called Mocha. This cyclone, it is likely to bring heavy rainfall in the Andaman Island chain, and this is also likely to make its landfall between Bangladesh and Myanmar. Next up, we have an update with respect to the Shooting World Cup. So India has bagged a silver and a bronze medal in the ISSF Pistol and Rifle World Cup. With the air pistol mixed team pair of Varun Tomar and Rhythm Sangwan, they've clinched the second spot, while the pair of Rudraksh Patil and R. Narmada Nitin, they've secured the third spot in the air rifle event in Bhopal. With this, India, the tally for India, it is total gone up to 4, including 1 gold, silver, and 2 bronze medals. Moving on, SAKSHAM Learning Management Information System has been dedicated and launched. So this is a dedicated and uniform platform for providing online training and medical education to all healthcare professionals in the country. This digital learning platform, this is going to ensure inclusive capacity building of health professionals from primary health centers, which are located in rural and remote areas of our country, all the way up to tertiary care and corporate hospitals in metropolitan cities. Common uniform for Army Officers of Brigadier rank and above from 1st of August. So the army, it has decided to adopt a common uniform for officers of the brigadier rank and above, irrespective of the parent cadre and appointment. This is a move which is aimed at promoting and strengthening a common identity and approach in service matters among the force's senior leadership, moving beyond the boundaries of regimentation. India's first robotic framework, it has recently been launched by the Telangana government. The Telangana State Robotics Framework, which was launched by the IT Minister with a robot as the co-host, it is aimed at creating a sustainable robotic ecosystem which facilitates innovation, entrepreneurship, and research and development, positioning Telangana as a leader in the field of robotics. Kashmir University, it hosts delegates from 10 nations. This meeting, it is aimed at encouraging the youth to share their ideas on how they can contribute to addressing and mitigating the impacts of climate change. The selection of Kashmir University to host the Y20, it was made in light of the extensive research that has been carried out in this particular field by the university. The theme for this meet is climate change and disaster risk reduction, making sustainability a way of life. POSHAN BHI PADHAI BHI, this scheme has recently been launched. So the Union Ministry of Women and Child Development, it has recently launched a campaign named POSHAN BHI PADHAI BHI in the national capital, under which work is going to be undertaken in Anganwadis across the country for providing nutrition as well as better education to children in the age category of 3 to 6 years. And this has brought us to the international segment for Andy Murray. Has won victory, or he has secured place over Tommy Paul in Aix-en-Provence, France. This is Andy Murray's first title win since 2019. This is also his first clay court title since Rome Masters of 2016. This win, it has boosted his world ranking at 42, which is the highest he has had in the last 5 years. And with this, we've come to the last segment for today, which is the legal update segment, with the first update coming from the Honorable Apex Court. So the Supreme Court on Thursday emphasized the importance of ensuring that the governance of a state, it is not taken over by the central government, while delivering a crucial verdict confirming that the control over administrative services, barring those related to public order, police and land in the National Capital Territory of Delhi, it belonged to the government of Delhi. This is essentially the verdict with respect to which we also had an editorial article. See, the bench highlighted the importance of federalism in India and also re-established the domains of the center and the state. The name of this particular case is Government of NCT of Delhi versus the Union of India. Second up, we also have a Supreme Court decision. This is also indeed an interesting and important one. So in a matter pertaining to the Shiv Sena rift, the Supreme Court Constitution Bench, it has held that it cannot order the restoration of Uddhav Thackeray's government. Why? Because he has resigned without facing the floor test. So while the governor's decision to go for a floor test, it was wrong at the very outset, the Supreme Court held that the action of the governor in inviting Eknath Shinde to form the government due to the resignation, it was as per law. The name of this particular case is Subhash Desai versus Principal Secretary, Governor of Maharashtra and others. With respect to this matter, we've done extensive editorial TNA segments. So you may refer to one of our previous TNAs in order to understand the nuances and details of this entire matter. And with this, we've come to an end for the TNA. And in case you want to get access to the free study materials that LawSikho provides and the TNA slides that were used in this video, I would request all of you to please join our Telegram channel. For the same, you may scan the barcode here, or you may click in the which is on the link which is provided in the description. These are the point of contacts in case you want to get in touch with LawSikho. Also, the quiz which is based on yesterday's TNA, it is made available in the description of this very video. Thank you for being with us.